Greetings, this is Doc Ock coming at you live and direct tonight from Black Facts Headquarters Central with another installment of Doc Ock at noon and 9. So hopefully everybody's doing real fine. Who, including all those chilling of mine out there tonight, listening to my line as I sit here and rhyme. Let's see what we got for you tonight. First up, you know what we want you to do. Give us a like if you're watching on Facebook. Give us a thumbs up if you're watching on the tube. And last but not least, spread the word far and wide. Tell everybody you know except for the police, because we don't need to mess with the police. Thank you very much. That Black Facts is here to stay. And that's a fact. Meanwhile, proverb for today is, I have taken your cows. Now, that may seem like a funny saying, but again, it does relate to our game that we have over here. We've been featuring all month, and the proverbs that we get from the game, or the sayings of the game, which are little odd sayings like this one here, I have taken your cows. Now, you saw that when you were looking here at the board, you can see that there are some seeds in it, right? You see the little seeds in there, and each one of those seeds is equivalent to money, and in a lot of places, cows are equivalent to money. So when they say I have taken your cows, they're saying that I have taken some of your seeds. And these are little jibes that people will use as they're playing the game and just to taunt their opponent, try to keep their opponent off guard. Yeah, this game is not like chess. In chess, you don't really talk smack while you're playing the game for the most part. But in when we play Mancala games, that is a part of the game. Although I try to get my students to refrain from doing that as they're learning, because they get so upset sometimes when they lose. All right. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, let's do this little dance. We're moving right along here, and tonight we are still featuring scientists, healers, and inventors. Black scientists, healers, and inventors. And we've been focused on a lot of aviators, black female aviators, but tonight we're going to feature a healer, and I don't know who that healer will be. Let us see. Just who do we have up in here that we can focus on tonight as a healer? You know, I like to do this off the cuff. That's why my stuff is so tough, because I usually do it right off the cuff. And I see they don't have the woman who I thought they had in here. Let me see. Where else would I have her story at? Nope. Don't think I have her story anywhere else either. So we're not going to talk about her. We will talk though about, see, how about this one here? Susan McKinley Stewart. Let's see what we had to say here about Susan McKinley Stewart. All right, so we'll talk about her. I wanted to focus on a midwife tonight, and I had queued up some photos of Biddy Mason. Well, you know what? I can tell you the story of Biddy Mason. I don't need no freaking book. I'll just tell you her story. Biddy Mason was born and raised in the southern part of the United States, believe in Mississippi, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully I'm not thinking I'm on track right there. But she was definitely born and raised in the South, and she was definitely born and raised during slavery days, during the days of slavery. So she was a slave of some man down there. I don't know his name. Maybe his name was Mr. Mason. I don't know his name. But she was his slave, and Biddy Mason was in charge of maintaining the welfare and health of everyone on his plantation, including the slaves, the massa, and his mistress. Okay, she was in charge of maintaining the health of all of those people. However, one day Massa up and decided that he wanted to relocate. And he wanted to relocate because of his religion. He had found God in the Mormon religion. He had found that the Mormon religion he thought was the one for him. And so he upped and decided to move to a new area, new territory where Mormons were moving to, where they could avoid persecution and ridicule because they had some funny ways. They wore different kinds of clothing, particularly their underwear. They believed in having more than one wife, which was different from most other people. And they also had their own Bible. So they had a different book. They called it the Book of Mormon, etc. And so the Mormons territory was in a state by the name of Utah. And Utah was a ways away from Mississippi. Matter of fact, it must have been about 1,600 miles, if I'm not mistaken, from distant from Mississippi. Well, when her master decided to relocate to Mississippi, he formed up got a couple wagons and put all his worldly belongings in the wagon, put the wife and his children and whoever else whatever other family members he had, he wanted to take with him. They gathered them all up and they started heading west. Well, in those days, when you wanted to head west, you would typically go to a jumping off point where where these ships of the prairie, these prairie schooners, would meet up at a designated spot. And one of those spots was St. Joseph, Missouri. The other one, on the way there, they would stop through St. Louis, Missouri. But St. Joseph, I believe, was like a trailhead where people would start on their long journey. But you had to get there, so oftentimes they would have a long journey before just to get to the trailhead, and then they would go from the trailhead heading west, either to California, Oregon territory, wherever it was they were going to. So on this trail to get from Mississippi to the trailhead, Biddy had to walk. Well, Biddy already had children, and I believe she might have been pregnant when she left, because I know she had a newborn, so I don't know if the newborn was born right before she left or was born while she was out there on the trail. I can't remember that part. But she did have a baby, a young baby that she took with her out there on this trail, plus I think one or two more other children. So she had about 2 or 3 children of her own children that she took with her on this trail going to Utah. Well, in those days, it was common that people did not ride in the wagon necessarily, or on a horseback, or a mule, or donkey, or anything like that, other conveyance, but they would walk. And so Biddy actually walked all the way from Mississippi, as did some of her children. The youngest was on her back. Okay, she had to carry at least one, but the other two, or other child or children that she had, that child or children, they ended up walking all the way to Utah, a good 1,600 miles, okay, or thereabouts. And then Massa, learned more about the Mormon religion, and he was really feeling good about the Mormon religion in Utah, etc., etc., etc. But after a while, he heard about a new area, or another area, that Mormons were relocating to out in California, which, by the way, was about another 1,000 miles from Utah. And so he upped and decided that after being in Utah for about a year or so, he upped and decided now he wanted to relocate to California, Southern California in particular, which was a journey of about another 1,000 miles. and they were hard miles because you had to go over the Sierra Nevada mountains, or you had to at least find the lowest pass to go through the mountains. And you could, at any point in time, you could be dealing with snow. Plus, you had to go up across the Great Salt Lake, and that was straight desert. You know, a lot of people died, a lot of animals died trying to cross that Great Salt Lake because there was nothing out there, no food, no water for miles and miles and miles as far as the eye could see. And so Biddy and her children, now all of them were old enough to walk. So the children and her, they all walked. Now, while she was doing all this, they were doing all this walking, Biddy was still in charge of the health of everybody who was on that particular wagon train. Because when they got to St. Joseph, they hooked up with some other people coming from somewhere else, but all headed to the same direction. Okay, so there's strength in numbers, so to speak, to deal with, you know, your problems along the way and fighting off hostiles and animals and things of that nature. And so her and her children now ended up walking another 1,000 miles all the way to Los Angeles, California. Now that's the first part of Biddy's story. We'll have to get to part 2 tomorrow night. And so for now, we're going to bid you adieu. Tutai Onana. We're going to see you later. And as we're ending our program, we're just going to give you a little reminder of what we need you to do right now, which is to take your little head and lay it on your little pillow, on your little bed. Close those your eyes and wait on the sun to rise. And when you feel those sunbeams beaming down on your eyes, you know that it's time for you to rise and shine, oh chillin' of mine. Because everything's going to be fine when you rise and shine in a new day. You're going to be able to do things in a new way if you hear what I say, because you know I don't play. Meanwhile, for all you adults, you know what we need you to do. Give us a like if you're watching on Facebook, a thumbs up if you're on the tube. Last but not least, don't forget to subscribe to the Tubular Black Facts channel right here on the YouTube. And other than that, we'll be black tomorrow night. Look for our playlist, Black Genius, which will be coming out at noon tomorrow. So check it out. And in the meantime, we're just going to say good evening to Shakila Maharani Abena Nui. All right? Peace out, Shakila. And the same goes for the rest of y'all. Peace with justice, because anything less disgusts us.